Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. Guys, we're here today to talk about The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion Part 1. Cursing. Cursing will be involved because you know what? All I wanted to do, and I literally kept screaming at the TV, Kyle, shut the fuck up. Kyle. Oh my God, Kyle. But we're gonna get to it. If you are new to the channel, even though I sound real aggressive, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you. I would like to say welcome to my new subbies. Hey, welcome to the beautiful people family. And if you have not, I already said that. Okay. All right, let's get going, guys. All right, guys. So we start off, and apparently, is it a makeshift Beverly Hills hotel or something? Because that's where Kyle says they look like they're at the Beverly Hills hotel. She's got a breast reduction. We don't care. And Rena comes in with manila envelopes, and I can guarantee you that we don't give a shit what's in there. And whatever it is, it's not gonna prove a thing. She is giving me Drew tease, and it's not even cute. Like they are both terrible actresses. All right, you guys. So we start off, of course, with Andy going around the room, telling the women they look fabulous, asking who they're wearing, what inspired them, yada yada. And Garcelle's outfit looks cute. And I watched, who did I watch? What's his name? Kempire, and he was saying it's a sitting outfit, and it is. It's a sitting outfit because I think standing, I didn't really like it, but sitting down, she looks fine. The hair, everything was fine. I don't know why she keeps doing the up and down do. It's like, girl, you too old for that. I don't like it, but it looks fine. I don't know why they put Crystal on that side with those girls, but okay. And of course, we have a seat missing. Diana is not there. Yay. Great. We don't need her. She's sick again. This bitch is always sick. I'm sorry. And that was much nicer than what I really want to say. What I really want to say about her always being sick. So, what's her name? Rena. She comes out with this little bitty like porcelain bird talking about, oh, I got Lois with me. Girl, listen, I'm gonna need Rena to calm down because she's already trying to play the sympathy card through the out the door. Like as soon as we start, you gonna try with the sympathy card? Yeah, everything Rena does is calculated. Okay, like she thinks out, it's scripted. There's no reality for this broad. All right, so we start off talking about the homeless and toothless, and he makes them say it. And apparently, somebody wrote in and said that was the funniest 8 minutes ever. Then we get to Dorit with Jamie Lee Jamie Lee Curtis and everything being so chic. Oh my God, this is so chic. This is so chic. And Kyle saying she could be shown a nasty tissue or whatever, and she would say it was so chic. So he's like, Dorit, what's up with that? And she's like, well, a matte black wind chime? That is chic. And I'm like, okay. Like, number one, I can't stand wind chimes. Like, shut that shit up. And you guys, with what I do, like wind chimes was a thorn in my ass one year where I worked, and one of the ladies was pissed off because her neighbor had a wind chime, and it's Chicago and it's very windy and it's super noisy. And then the lady was like, oh, but somebody gave me this wind chime. It reminds me of someone that passed. Like she totally pulled a Rena. And when I tell you the back and forth with these women drove me crazy. But then he tells them, oh, Jamie Lee Curtis is here. No, I'm just kidding. And then, no, she comes out. And then Jamie Lee Curtis comes out. It's hilarious the way she walks to me, you guys. Like she does kind of this slow bounce walk or whatever. But I like Jamie Lee Curtis. She's fine. It was very random having her come out, but it's fine. Okay, so although it was random, it didn't last long, so it was fine. And I'm so stupid. I totally didn't understand why she brought Halloween pumpkins. I'm just like, what the fuck is she doing? Like, why? She's the Halloween lady. So, okay. But yeah, so apparently when she got there or, on set, she was talking to the camera people or whatever. So that was very nice. She wants to recognize everybody behind the scenes. She said Dorit and her enthusiasm changed the company, so they renamed the wind chime Dorit's wind chime or something like that. So cute. And okay, thank you very much for coming. Bye. All right, so they talk about what happened with Garcelle's son online and the fact that people were threatening him. And she said it was his first day of high school, like he was just starting high school, and you have people sending nasty tweets. And when I tell you that tweet was just horrific, talking about kneeling on his neck if his dad wasn't white, like who even thinks of that? So Andy asked if she thought it was somebody in the group, and she says, yeah, she definitely thought it was somebody in the group, and she felt like it was their way of trying to get her off the show, basically. And I'm like, damn, that means you really feel unwanted. Like, if you think somebody would go to those lengths, then you really feel like these ladies don't want you, because it's like the modern day burning a cross on your lawn. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to intimidate you, scare you out of there. And I guess that's how she felt they were trying to do to get her off the show. Because yeah, I can take it, and I'm on the show. I can deal with the criticisms and all that stuff, but don't come for my kid. Like that's enough to have somebody quit. And I wouldn't even be mad at her if she was like, it's too much, these fans are too crazy, and that's that. But it's very unfortunate that she feels like it's somebody that's on the cast that she actually has to work with. Like that's real shitty, you guys. Do y'all even understand that you feel like somebody would hate you that much? Anyway, um Andy, gives off this apology for Bravo, which I'm sorry. I just didn't like the way Andy handled a lot of stuff on this reunion. I know a lot of people did, but I didn't. I just felt like with this whole thing, he gives off Bravo does not, condone this or whatever. And I just wish it was more heartfelt and just from him. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say whatever for Bravo later, but he never gave off his own. You know what, Giselle? I'm sorry, that happened to you and your son, and hope he's okay or whatever. No, he gave a speech. He gave a Bravo speech, and I just didn't agree with it, but it is what it is. All right, so now we talked to Dorit about her break-in, and we are not gonna stay here long, guys, because I don't want to keep saying how it was just strange, and it was. And Andy did bring up the fact that she had some naysayers, and he's like, "Why leave the phone for you?" And she's like, "Well, I was just very calm with them, and I told them I'm going to, I just really need to call my husband." And I'm like, "And the police, so that's gonna work." And when they showed the video of the guy putting the phone down by the gate for her, which is so weird. It's very weird, you guys. Even the way they walked in there together, it was just very weird, the whole thing. So I don't know. Again, if it is a lie, they both made themselves cry very well. They did a good job at acting. So I don't know if it's put on or not. But I don't know. She said she has a hard time getting out of bed. I don't know. Then we get to Kyle, and she tells a weird story about the people who stole her stuff, sent pictures, and asked for money. And oh, let's go back first. I found it very interesting that when Dorit was telling her story, and she's like, when Andy said people are naysayers or whatever and think you and PK made it up. Then you have the peanut gallery, Renna and Erica, like, oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. However, nobody said anything when he read exactly what they were saying or said something about Garcelle's tweet to, the tweet to her son. Nobody chimed in and said, oh my God, it was so terrible. It was just terrible. Nobody said that then. They're so irritating, these women. Oh, but Kyle and her story about giving people money and them saying we'll give you more if you give us more, like it was just so stupid that they really just brushed it off. And, oh, I'm sorry. And Erica was like, why are you giving criminals money? Why are you doing that? I'm like, aren't you a criminal? Allegedly. Yeah, okay. All right, so now we're talking to Crystal. And you guys, Crystal is really a pretty lady. She is. And I wonder what is the age difference between her and her husband. I once again did not like this segment, even though Crystal came off a little flaky and all over the map. I'm not gonna lie. Like the stuff she was saying just didn't add up. It didn't, and I was kind of rooting for her a little bit because you guys, I feel like Crystal has a voice and she's just stifled by these ladies. They've been so mean to her. As soon as she says anything, that she stops speaking, and I don't like that. I honestly think this is probably the last season for Crystal, so it is what it is. Especially the way, in my opinion, Andy was dismissing her and kind of going after her with them. I mean, I understand you think she's a liar or she lied about something, but I don't know that he really holds everyone's feet to the fire like that. So he doesn't really go in and go after people a whole lot like that. But he was like with them. With no, but I'm jumping ahead. But anyway, we see how Kyle is, very condescending and rude in her confessionals about Crystal, and the fact that, oh my gosh, she's a millennial and she's over dramatic, and it's like, calm down. And I'm like, did you really just call somebody over dramatic? And have you ever said those words to Renna? Have you ever been like, you, Erica, like all of y'all are over dramatic, so are you kidding me? And I just feel like it's the fact that she's a little bit younger. And then we go into the montage of her wearing baby doll dresses, and even Garcelle saying, listen, you don't have to wear a baby doll dress for us to know you're young. And I'm like, damn, she can't win. So, yeah. And then we get the question from a viewer, which was a very good question. Kyle, why was it okay for you to bring up your eating disorder when Crystal talked about hers, but it wasn't okay for Sutton to bring up her miscarriages? It's all just trying to be relatable. So let's see what Kyle says, because I actually don't remember. So Kyle just basically owns it and says that, listen, she blamed it on the alcohol. Blamed it on the alcohol. She said, I had too much tequila and I was just saying too much and it was wrong and I was out of control. Don't know that she even apologized to Sutton. Did she say sorry? I can't remember. I literally just watched it, but I don't remember an apology. Matter of fact, I don't, because Sutton would have accepted. She'd been like, oh, okay, it's okay, it's okay. Be my friend. And then we get to Erica telling, what's her name, Crystal, that instead of purging, binging and purging, she should just take laxatives. And it's so funny because when they showed it back, I can't remember Garcelle standing there going, wow. And I'm like, Garcelle definitely be saying exactly what everybody is thinking. And that's probably why they can't stand her. She's the voice of reason. And these girls are out of control. So he's like, yeah, you can't really say that. And she said something about growing up in a dance studio. So my whole thing when she said it was, that's still a form of this whole situation. And yeah, it is. And Crystal even said it. Like, listen, just because you're not doing it one way, you're doing it the other way, and it's still a problem. So I feel like Erica has, in her lifetime, had a problem. So that's basically all she was doing, was just showing that she had, hopefully it's had and not still has, a problem. We also talked about the whole thing with Sutton coming in the room, and was that part of, were you binging and purging or whatever? And she's like, no, I was changing. And the fact that I have body dysmorphia, it all kind of goes together. So yeah, I was mortified that somebody came in and saw me with no clothes on. And that's why she was saying she felt violated. And no, I don't think it was violated like, oh, she tried anything with me. It was definitely violated like, damn, don't open my door if it's closed. Knock. If I don't say don't come in, if I don't say come in, don't come in. And the fact that she feels a way about her body, so she was like mortified. I get it, and I got it when it all happened. And I just felt like they blew it up way more than it had to be. She felt a way because she has this issue. It's fine. Yeah, we talked to Erica about the fact that she told her she couldn't have the chicken tender, and she's like, yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. And then as they're looking at her like, girl, and Andy is looking at her and she's like, it was the wrong thing to do. It was the wrong thing to do. Again, no apology though. All right, so then we also talk about the fact that Dorit goes and tells the group that Crystal says she throws up every day. And yeah, I remember that scene, and I remember it seeming very gossipy, as Crystal said, and because she wasn't there, and it was all like, oh, is she going to get help? She's not getting help. She's not trying to help herself. Yeah, it was a very gossipy situation, and Crystal said when she saw it, it was very hard for her. And Dorit, if y'all could have seen, oh, I'm sure y'all seen her face. She was just like shocked, like, oh my God, you said it to the group. I'm like, she wasn't even there. So how did she say it to the group? She said it to you. And Crystal's like, no, said it to you. And next time when we speak privately, it's private. And I'm like, girl, don't tell her nothing. Not to mention, you're probably not going to be on the show, so don't worry about it. But yeah, Dorit is very shitty. And Crystal, starts crying. So Rena's passing her some tissue, and Erica is passing it without even turning her head, like she don't even want to look at her, like she's so uninvolved, like she just doesn't care. And I can't stand these women. I cannot stand these women. All right, so now we get to the part. We're still with Crystal, guys. We get to the part where Crystal is defending herself against saying that, Sutton said something very dark. And yeah, she came off looking very bad here. But they were all just jumping on her. I'm like, all of them speaking at the same time. And I'm like, Erica, you couldn't even look at her 2 seconds ago. Like, you wasn't even trying to fool with her. So shut up. Don't talk to her now. We don't care about your 2 cents. Um, and she's just like, no, I wasn't saying she said one thing. They're like, no, you definitely said she said one thing that was very dark. And she's like, well, then I'm going to change it to tone. And Andy was like, well, you came on Watch What Happens Live and you kind of doubled down, like, no, what she said was bad and it was much worse or whatever. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to switch it to tone. And so, yeah, she's basically changing her story. And then we have Garcelle telling her, listen, I asked you, did she say anything racist? Because then I'm going to have to rethink my friendship with her. And yeah, I remember her, saying that. I remember it was like, and who said it? Somebody, I think it may have been Kyle, said it basically you were trying to insinuate that she said something racist. You wanted us to think that she was racist. And I do feel like she was coming off like that. Like she wanted to, wanted everybody to think Sutton said something racist. But we also talked about the whole conversation with Sutton saying, her daughter was in the pool with all these different people, kind of like a melting pot of people, and that's how it should be. And he's like, is that the conversation that you thought, was offensive or whatever? And she's like, yeah, yeah. And that's where she lost me, where I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, how could that be offensive? The fact that even in the end, she said, my daughter's here with a redhead, she's here with a black girl, she's here, and this is how it should be. How on earth was that offensive? But it's whatever. Like, Crystal, I tried to be on your team, girl. You got to make more sense. Like, you can't let them trip you up. But she is like lying and flipping her stories, backpedaling and all that. Erica is just like, oh my God, he was charged, but he was not convicted. He was not convicted. I'm like, of course she would say that. Ma'am, calm down because you have not been acquitted yet. Like, you are not off the hook. You won a couple of situations, but you have not been acquitted yet. So you want to calm down. We stayed with Crystal for a very long time, you guys, because we talked about the fact that she was saying, had she known Sutton better, she wouldn't have accused her of, kind of sort of being racist. Then we talked to Sutton, like, Sutton, how do you feel about the whole thing? And she's like, listen, we're good. We're gravy. We talked about it. I kind of understand where some of the words I used was off putting, this and that. And they just can't let it go. And as she's saying that, and she's like, I just feel like if I can let it go, the group needs to, show her a little respect and let it go. And then Erica and Brenna, why is this okay? Why are you letting it go? Why can't she let it go? She's a grown ass woman, and if she's not upset about it anymore, she can. Why can't you guys let stuff go? Like, are you kidding me? They just want her to be mad. They want people to be mad at certain people. It's ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Then we also have Andy asking Crystal, well, telling Crystal, like, listen, you know, um, she's like, well, you should take it as a learning experience. Cause he's like, I literally spent 3 episodes trying to figure out what was so dark. And she's like, you should take it as a learning experience. And I'm like, that kind of didn't make no sense, but okay. And he's like, the learning experience should be for you. Don't accuse somebody of saying something dark on national TV if you're not going to back it up. And I'm like, damn, Andy is all over her. Even though it's true. It's true, Crystal. Dang it, I want to be on your team, but it's true. But I just feel like he was pouncing. Everyone was pouncing at her. I think that's the bad part, is that all the girls were going in and Andy was included in the whole thing. Like, he wasn't trying to just be quiet. You know how sometimes shit'll be going on and Andy will just be quiet and let it happen. No, he's coming at her. And then after all of that, he ends up asking her once again about the Michael Jackson thing, which she knows, or he knows, that people didn't agree with her saying that. And I'm like, damn, you are gunning for Crystal. Yes, ma'am. This is going to be your last season for sure. Like, even Andy is not feeling you. Y'all, they stayed beating up on Crystal forever. We're still on Crystal. And the fact that Kyle said she's a dramatic millennial, and she's like, yeah, because you made up a story and you lie. And I'm like, but you're not talking to your friends who make up stories and lie. And Yeah, then we get into the whole 14 friends losing and the fact that she at first said, yeah, once I started this show, then they stopped talking to me, and then she switched her words around. And yeah, Crystal was getting pounced on, y'all. And so yeah, she may have misspoken or she may just be a liar. I don't know. It really doesn't matter at this point because again, I don't feel like Crystal will be back. So be back. I can't even talk. I don't feel like Crystal will be back, so it doesn't matter. Like I can't believe we spent this much time on Crystal. Ugh. So yeah, now we got Diana. Oh my god. And I hope that this couple minutes that we spend with her is it. Okay. So Andy is like, oh, for a sick woman, you definitely look good. She's like, oh, you didn't want to see me this morning. I'm like, she's a liar. Diana's just a liar. I'm sorry. She didn't want to be there, and that's great because we didn't want to hear more from her than what we really needed to. Like this was all too much. He talks to her about the book and the fact that people think she's a madam, and she's like, oh no, that could not be further from the truth. Like, no, I'm not a madam. It was a very good book and I'm very proud of it. Okay, fine. Then does she know Jeffrey Epstein? No, I never met the man in my life. I was a refugee in 97. I had no paperwork. She just be going on a tangent. Don't know what any of that has to do with what he asked. Then he asked about the lip licking, and she's like, it's a nervous tick, and she's trying to consciously stop it right now. She's like, don't lick her lips, and I'm like, ugh, that's a nasty nervous tick. Like she just be looking nasty, even though I get it. Like you can't pick and choose your nervous tick, but ugh. So we got our answer, and apparently it's not going to stop. But again, thankfully, I don't think we're going to see her anymore, so we don't care. We talked to Diana about the blogger and the fact that she was just like, oh, I can't believe there's black content creators or whatever. And what she said she didn't understand what she was saying. She blames everything on the fact that there's some sort of mix up. She doesn't speak English well, like whatever. And then Crystal says that she called her and she spoke with her and she really don't think she understood. And she's saying, oh, I thought that just meant like the dark web. I wasn't thinking black like that. And I'm like, you didn't say dark, you said black. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. So then we talk about the fact that she gave money, and Andy asked Erica how she felt about that. And he's like, because I felt like it was kind of a troll. Like, okay, there's victims or whatever, and if you're gonna talk about it, be about it, put up some money or whatever. Erica's like, oh my god, no, I didn't think it was a troll. Like I thought it was very nice. Like if you're gonna keep berating me, then do something about it if you care that much. And of course she doesn't find it offensive. Like these women, I'm sorry, I just really feel like they're racist. Like they definitely treat Garcelle and Crystal different, and even Sutton. I feel like Sutton was getting beat up on because she's friends with them. She's friends with the black girl or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's racism, and the fact that they want to stick together and act like it, including Kyle. It's all racism to me. You can't tell me no different. Then we get into the whole thing with the bots and people saying stuff to Garcelle. Yeah, can y'all believe that they sent Garcelle's son um, pictures of her in Playboy? Like, I didn't even know they did that. That's unreal to me. Um, so as they get into the whole thing, Andy is just like, yeah, people felt like Diana, you had something to do with the bots that were behind it. And he's like, Garcelle, did you feel like she had something to do with it? And she's like, yeah. And then Diana's like, oh, you thought I was bullying a 14-year-old and that I would do something like that? Like, you must really have a low opinion of me. And Garcelle was like, yeah. I was like, yes, ma'am. You better own it. Girl, I just don't fool with you. All right, so then we get to the actual message that is at stake. The fact about the knee on the neck and all that. And in that message, it said, "Leave Diana. I'll tell your mom to leave Diana alone, or else she'll have to deal with us." And apparently, her son reposted it, and he put a caption like, "You've gone too far." And Diana seems to think that they should have penciled her name out or whatever. No, it implicates you, so why would I do that in the first place? So at this point, Garcelle is pissed, and she's like, hold on, are you kidding me that you feel like I should? And Diana's like, yeah, protect the families, we were getting death threats. Why would I, per Garcelle, why would I think of protecting you when I'm thinking of protecting my son. Like, now I got to protect all of you guys. And then we have Erica. No, you didn't have to protect me. And I'm like, nobody was even talking to you and Renna making all those faces or whatever. Nobody's talking to you all. So it's ridiculous. And then, of course, we have Kyle. And this is where I was yelling, shut the fuck up, Kyle. She's just like, I think what she means is pencil it. Who gives a shit about what she means? It makes no sense. And you make no sense. And that's when Garcelle turned to her like, hold on, Diana. You know, like, quit talking. Let me talk. And she's like, so you think talking to Kyle? And she's like, no, not me. And I'm like, then why don't you shut up? If you are not speaking for yourself, why don't you shut up? Why do you keep... It's always about Kyle. She always has to interject. She got to jump in. She got to try to help. Kyle gets on my nerves so bad. So then Diana, of course, goes into the whole thing. In my country, a threat is an actual threat because people get murdered. People get murdered. Okay, so the fact that they talked about kneeling on her son's neck and threatened her if they don't leave you alone, those aren't threats. Like, seriously. So your threats are more harmful than her threat. Like, it's ridiculous. And the fact that they don't understand how stupid she sounds is ridiculous. All right, so then we get to the fact that Garcelle felt like Diana threatened her. And Diana's like, how? Was it illegal? Or was it, like basically saying I wasn't threatening to physically harm you. It was just going to be legal. So we see part of the message she sent where she said, believe me when I say, if anything happens to my children, you will be held legally responsible and no Bravo contract will stop me. I guess by making Cherie take down my birthday post, you wanted to solidify me as racist and actually ruin my life. Dramatic much? Really? It's ruining your whole entire life? Like, are you kidding me? These women are ridiculous. They're so ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. We wrap it up with Garcelle saying she really don't want to talk to Diana no more. She's done. And Andy's like, if Diana was sitting here, what would you say to her? And I'm like, so she is right there. Like, she's not on the couch, but she's right there. She can talk to her. And she's like, I would just tell her, leave me alone or whatever. So we find out that Garcelle thinks Diana is obsessed with her because she's constantly putting up tweets about her. And all the women are looking bored and over it, and even Andy. And I'm like, this is actually a huge deal. Like, Andy needs to tell her to stop. Just calm down. And we see all the tweets and stuff that she's doing. And, Garcelle's like, just leave me alone. And, she's like, you're obsessed with me. And Diana's like, oh, because you're beautiful. And Andy's like, that's not what you mean. I'm like, that's not what she means. Like, this whole thing was just stupid because Andy is not giving any backing. Like, I actually feel like he should have said a little more in terms of Diana, calm down. Like who did he tell that they're Candace told Candace that her social media was a mess, and I think from the previews he's gonna tell Renna that her social media is a mess. Yeah, tell Diana to calm down, like something. But that's where it ended. It was pretty good to where I was like literally screaming, just mostly at Kyle. Like, I was mostly screaming at Kyle. But yeah, I guess it's gonna get better. When Kathy comes, I can't wait for Kathy to come and clear these bitches. I can't wait. Even though y'all know I'm not a Kathy fan, but I will be for the next reunion, or maybe it'll be the one after it. I'm not sure. But if you are still here, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. Like the video. It helps with the analytics. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.